When building a house, and especially a whole development of houses like this, it can seem like a lengthy process. First, you need to have a good architect, someone to put blueprints and plans together. Then you need the relevant budget and planning permissions. Finally, you get the builders, plumbers, and electricians on site to make it all a reality. Without the different skills and expertise of those involved, the house can't be built. Double glazing might seem duller than choosing the kitchen counters, but both are needed to make a house a home. Every unique stage of the process is crucial, and we can trust that the architects and builders know what they're doing. The same can be said when we reflect on our own journeys of faith. There are so many different encounters that I've had with Jesus that have shaped who I am today. Throughout my 3 years at university, I learned to trust God more and have faith in Him and His plans for my future, knowing that He had miraculously opened doors of remarkable opportunities for me before. Some of those moments were powerful and immediate encounters with the presence of God. Others, more often, have only become obvious as I've looked back and reflected on the transformational work God has done in my life, slowly building my intimacy with Him. Those unseen moments have sustained and established my faith just as much as the more obvious encounters, perhaps at church or a Christian event. It would be unhelpful for me to compare the things God has done in my own life, ranking some moments as more valuable than others, just as it would be unhelpful to compare them to what God's done in other people's lives. Comparison risks dismissing the wonderful things God is doing in and through all of us. When we look at the Gospels, we see many different people encountering Jesus, and the ways they meet with Him are just as varied as the people themselves. Two great examples are Nicodemus and the woman who'd been bleeding for many years. Jesus meets Nicodemus at night. The encounter is unseen, and we don't know what impact it has on Nicodemus until after Jesus' death, when we read that he helps with Jesus' body. It's not until a while after that first encounter that we see Nicodemus' faithfulness to Jesus being expressed. In contrast, the woman who reached out and touched Jesus was instantly healed. All it took was one moment for her whole life to be transformed. In both these examples, the encounter was very different, but that doesn't mean that the impact Jesus had on their lives was any less. While one example was instant and obvious, and one was slow and unseen, both were precious and genuine encounters with Jesus, the Son of God. When we walk into a home, we tend to notice the color of the walls and the things on them, far more than the wiring behind them or the foundations beneath them. Those obvious touches are important in miraculously transforming a house into a home, but they're only possible because of the unseen and seemingly mundane foundational work. We know the one who is both the architect and the builder, and we can trust that He knows what He's doing. No moment is wasted as God brings everything together in His grand plan and purpose for our lives. So how can we avoid falling into the trap of valuing the miraculous over the mundane? Do we seek the instant over the gradual? And do we need to say sorry for forgetting God's long-term plan for transformation in our lives? Let's be people who choose to value every encounter we have with God, recognizing each moment as God building His kingdom in and through us.